Hi, and welcome to the Larkspur Dance and Choreography Podcast. This is Melanie Daly. On this episode, I talked with Mila O'Brien and Andrea Feltz, the sister coaching duo of Millard North, a fantastic team that has been climbing the ranks at UDA Nationals for the past few years now. They were so much fun and so insightful. They'll give you some backstory on their journey with Millard North and so many helpful tips. They still love what they do, and they're still so energized by it, and that's not by accident. They are masters at multitasking, and they have their season down to a science that has eliminated a lot of stress while still getting successful results. So if you need some ideas for how to do that, you're going to want to listen in. They have some great things to share on delegating, building and utilizing a support system, fundraising, building stamina with your dancers, and how they go about perfecting routines. The vibe and culture at Millard North is really positive, and what I found surprising is the way they go about getting that done really can be done by anyone and applied to any relationship or activity. Stay tuned to get these amazing tips from this super sister team of Mila and Andrea from Millard North. Hi, Mila and Andrea.
Hello. Hi there.
They're fighting over who gets to talk first. Sisters here. Okay, first of all, let's talk a little bit about your history, your dance stories. We're going to start with you.
All right.
Andrea.
Yes. So do you want me to go from my childhood?
Yeah, how did you get into dance
All right,
and dance coaching?
My mom started me in dance when I was 3 years old in Storm Lake, Iowa. I danced there, and then we moved to Fort Dodge, Iowa, and I danced at Hollingsworth School of Dance and Gymnastics.
Okay.
All through high school, competed with them and did both gymnastics and dance there. And then I attended St. Edmund High School, and they didn't have a dance team, so I was a cheerleader there.
Okay.
And so I kind of got into the whole cheerleading world.
Yeah.
Continued to dance at the studio through high school, and then I went on to cheer at Northwest Missouri State for 4 years.
Go Bearcats.
And go Bearcats. Yep, for sure. And then I got a teaching job right out of college in 2003, and the dance team position was open at Millard North, and the athletic director asked me if I would be interested in it, and I said,
Heck
of course,
yeah.
I would. And so I started coaching the dance team in 2003 in the fall, and I've been there ever since.
Now, would you have preferred, since you were more cheer, would you have preferred the cheer coaching position?
Not necessarily, because in Nebraska, cheer was a lot different than what I was used to.
Yeah.
So I was used to all the stunting in Iowa and in Missouri. And so I actually was really happy to kind of get back to the dance world,
right.
And it was a perfect fit. But I did coach the dance team and the cheer team for 2 years, I believe.
At the same time.
At the same time.
Oh,
that was before children and marriage and everything else going on in my life. But yes, I did do that.
Did that at one point in time, and she called them the Spirit Sisters, and she would have kind of practices at the
Yeah,
same, like had to like totally do it all at the same time.
That's what we did too.
I guess it's doable, but
yeah, it was a lot though. It was a lot of kids and parents to manage.
Okay.
So that's. And then
That's
now
your
I'm
story.
Starting my 16th year of coaching at Millard
fantastic.
North. So.
Awesome. All right, Mila, you're up.
So I began dancing when I was 3 years old at Hollingsworth, also in Fort Dodge, and I did dance and gymnastics. And I began competing when I was probably like 6 or 7, thanks to Andrea, because she convinced my mom to let me do competition.
That's awesome.
Yes,
That's great.
Because she said, you just have to get her started young.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then same as Andrea, when I was in high school, like she mentioned, there was no dance team, so I did cheerleading, and I decided to go the dance route in college.
Gotcha.
So I was a Bearcat stepper
Yes.
at Northwest Missouri
One of my
State.
favorite teams. Absolutely.
Yes. I was went to school there for 1 year, and then I decided to move to Omaha. So I tried out for the University of Nebraska Omaha dance team. So I was on that dance team.
Oh, cool.
When I transferred here, and it was great. And it was a really actually a pretty good, easy transition, just because at Northwest we went to UDA Nationals, and then when I came to UNO, they also competed at NDA.
Oh, okay, so you knew what to expect.
Yeah. And then when I moved to Omaha, I started helping Andrea while I was in college with Millard North. And that was, I'm starting my 11th year coaching Millard North.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I
Very
just
cool.
kind of gradually, and then as time went on, I started being more and more involved at Millard North with her. And I got hired at Millard North to teach when I graduated from
so cool.
college. So it's perfect. And Andrea and I actually, not only do we coach together, but we teach in the same department.
Are you serious?
Yes,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh. Okay. What do you guys teach?
Family and consumer science.
Oh, okay. That's great.
Yeah.
So fabrics and foods, right? Is that what it is?
Yep.
And design and whatnot.
Yeah,
and-
foods, interior
Health.
design, health.
I teach child development a lot.
Yeah.
Mostly, I teach mostly child development. So.
You know what you guys teach? You guys teach life. That's what that is,
Yep.
right? Like the
Yep.
things that matter, not necessarily accounting or not that that's not important,
Right.
but everybody is going to probably have some sort of a family. Everyone's going to have some sort of a home. Everybody has a body to take care of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, good for you guys.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Millard North, such a powerhouse. Oh my gosh. You guys are doing awesome.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so I'm sure that did not happen overnight. I'm sure you weren't like, hey, let's go to Nationals and beat a bunch of people tomorrow.
No.
Or even this year. You know what I
Yes,
mean? Like it
no.
wasn't. Okay, so tell us that story.
So this was a long time ago. So in 2003, I was actually hired as the school coach,
Okay.
which when I got hired, I did not understand that role at all. I kind of got into this, and the parents had made a group, and the parents would hire a competition coach.
Okay.
So they had a separate team,
Separate thing. Mhm.
but it was the same girls.
Okay.
But they had a separate coach, separate practices. The coach was paid by the parents. And then I was just the school coach, which really at that time, what they wanted me to do was just to kind of chaperone the girls
At the games
and
whatnot.
at, very few practices, and just kind of
Be there.
let the girls run the program,
Sure.
but I would just be there to chaperone. So I was kind of, when I got involved, I was like, oh wait, this is much different than what I'm used to,
Andrea's competitive spirit.
Yeah. Yes. And,
bring it.
I maybe like to be in control. So this was a bit of adjustment. So that kind of went on for just a couple years.
Okay.
They went through several different competition coaches over that time. And then what kind of happened was the girls just gradually decided that they really didn't want to do both the teams. They didn't
Gotcha.
want to do a school team and a competition team and have two different coaches and practices.
Right.
And it just became too much. And so the girls just gradually decided not to do that anymore.
Okay.
And so then we just had a school team for several years. And we didn't even go to camp. We did our own thing.
yeah.
It was just kind of low key,
Sure.
for a couple years. And then Nebraska in 2008 started the state competition.
Oh, their state dance team
Yes,
association. 2008.
yes,
Okay.
in 2008, and that was actually 3 weeks after my first daughter was born, and I left her with my husband.
Oh, wow.
And I think it was exactly 3 weeks after she was born, and I took my first team. We took our first team to the state competition, and we ended up getting second to Millard West in both pom and jazz.
Oh, wow.
And we competed right up there with them. So
yeah.
that kind of lit the fire in us that was like, wait, we need to be doing something with this.
Right, we can do this.
Yes, we can
Yeah.
do this. And so one of the moms,
Well, and you picked an awesome program to model after, too.
Yes,
Like if you were
yes.
inspired by Millard West right there in your backyard.
Exactly,
That's
yes.
fantastic. You're very blessed to have
Yes.
a shining example.
yes. So we, one of the parents I was working out with her or not working out with her, but at the same gym. And
Gotcha.
she said, Andrea, you should just take the girls to nationals. Like, you coach them, and I'm like, yeah, I should.
You're
and
right.
at the
Let's try
time,
it.
I'm like, it won't be that much more work at the time. And, just a couple more practices. And so that year we just decided we're going to take the girls to nationals. Our goal was to, so in 2009 was our first year coaching and taking the girls
Love
to nationals.
Boat
Love Boat.
was our jazz routine.
They were
Ooh,
dressed
like-
like sailors.
Like
Yes.
Captain Stubing and like the show, The Love Boat. Like,
I'm not sure. It was
the
kind of
love-
a.
Oh, yes, that is the song.
Yep.
Yes.
It was
Oh,
kind
my
of a little
gosh.
remixed version with a little techno kind of vibe.
With
That-
the really awesome turn section in the beginning.
It did have an awesome turn
That
section.
is fantastic. That's so funny because I used to watch The Love Boat when I was little, and then my brother found some reruns of it, and I'm like, "Well, what channel is it?" And he was like, "I don't know, one of those dumb channels." And
Yeah.
So yeah, totally know what The Love Boat is.
That's
Yes.
where it all started.
Awesome.
So we took our first team, and our goal was just to make finals that first year, and we made finals in both. And I'm pretty sure we
Oh
got
my
13th
gosh.
in both.
Yeah.
So what?
And pom
Yep.
and jazz. And we were.
And
oh
then
my
we-
gosh!
But how
we
ecstatic
were just
was that?
ecstatic
Were you guys
that
just chanting
Yeah.
home from
Yes.
Nationals? We're number 13.
Yes.
Who cares?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
fantastic.
Yep. So that was our first year. And then it's just every year we've just kind of gradually set goals to, do top 10.
Right.
top-
Well, don't you find too that the more you go and the more you do it, the more you learn and you right.
Still learning.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, we're
still.
going to talk about that,
Yes.
like what you know now as opposed to what
Yes.
you knew then. Okay, so talk about the juggling of. Okay, so now you're one team, correct?
Now we're one team. And in 2009,
Okay.
we were one team and we just
You do it all.
do it all. Yep.
Okay, how's that working? Is it hard? Because I know a lot of teams, it's like, okay, whoa, let's start competition here and then try to multitask and work, you know what I mean? Like starting in the summer and then work on it in tandem with football and work on it in tandem
Right.
with, yeah. Is that how you guys do that?
Yeah, we usually get our choreography in August, September.
Okay.
And I mean, we are busy with football season
Right.
during that time. So we really have like our game dances are our focus. And then starting usually right around now, September, we really start
First of
September,
October.
October. Yeah, we really start to,
Look at the comp routines.
drilling those dances.
Yeah, we just started last week, actually, kind of really delving into our palm dance, getting that going.
Because they
So
learned it, but now you guys
Yeah.
are cleaning.
But we've
and
been
perfecting.
focusing on game dances for sure this
Gotcha.
first couple months. And one thing I have learned over the years is we take a very nice break in the summertime.
Okay, tell us about
a
that.
lot of
because
teams-
many teams do not.
Yeah,
Okay,
A lot of
we
teams
do.
work all through the summer
They
and
do.
all through the spring, but just as a coach and a mom and a teacher and all the stuff that we have going on, I need the break and Mila needs a break and the girls need the break.
Right.
And they're highly involved. A lot of them are highly involved with their studios. And so we kind of are the priority during our season, and then we kind of let them
sit back and let them do their thing.
go do their thing during their studio season.
Well, you're
So-
smart to do that because they'll be better dancers for you.
Yep.
And then they're probably better focused too.
Yes.
Because it's a finite amount of time. It's not this drudgery.
We give them all of pretty much April, May, June.
And then
off.
July we'll have a few practices before camp, and then we go to camp and they're refreshed.
Yeah, and excited to see each other. So you guys have tryouts like into March type
Yeah,
thing?
1st of April, end of March. But then once we
And
get our
then
team,
goodbye,
Yeah.
and then we will see you a week before camp. Do you
Yeah.
guys bring a routine to camp?
No.
Okay, see?
So we used to do that, but
But that
again,
added a stress
it's
you don't
just
need.
Too stressful.
Yeah.
It's too stressful. We stopped doing that. I think my second kid. That was when I had my second daughter. That was the end of that.
That's so funny. Some people gauge their time by years or, whatever you gauge it by how many kids. That's
Yes.
awesome. Okay.
So yeah, no home routines anymore, and it has been. Sometimes the girls think they want to do it every year. Actually, they
Well, I
think
bet
they
you
want
they
to.
go and they get inspired. We
excited.
should do that.
Yes.
And then it'll be like a month out. And you're like, okay, never mind.
Never
Right.
mind.
No, it's too hard to get all of that done. Absolutely. Okay. So basically you just map out your year in that way. Just focus, do your competition choreo in the summer,
Right.
start in August.
Yep.
Football. And then how do you repeat then the routines for basketball too?
Yes.
Okay. How's that work?
Well, and a lot of times we do our comp dances at basketball games a lot.
Perfect.
I mean, we
we have
used to worry that the crowd would get bored, but they love our competition dances so much
That's fantastic.
that they're bummed if we do a game dance. They're like, "What's this? We want the palm dance, like that crazy palm dance,
yeah.
And the girls will wear their costumes, and the parents love it.
That's
Students
awesome. So
love
you get a
it.
handful of dress rehearsals, basically.
Yes.
That's key.
Yep, it is.
And so are you like what competition routines do you normally bring?
Palm and jazz.
Palm and jazz.
Always palm and jazz.
So
Well-
is your jazz ever like a lyrical type thing? Okay, how's that read at a basketball game?
That's actually why I think we were kind of worried
Hesitant?
about when we first started,
started doing
doing
it.
it.
Like,
we were
the
worried
dads
about
won't
that.
get it.
But yeah, we were. But really, they
love
love
it
it.
now.
They love
They're
it.
used to it, and
And
they
the
love it.
girls do not hold back either. You would think maybe in front of their peers they would be a little
Be hesitant and feel a little weird.
But
Yeah.
they don't. They do great. I mean, they know they need to make those routines look good, so we have good videos to watch.
And then they critique themselves from that
Yep.
and all that. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, we make sure that they understand, every time we do it, that's making you better. So if you don't go full out, then that's a waste of time.
Yeah, it sure is.
So
absolutely. All right, let's talk about just being from a Midwest state. You guys are from Iowa, live here in Omaha. It's so cool that all this good stuff is coming out of Nebraska, coming out of Missouri, coming out of Iowa. So there's good things happening here for sure. Talk about Omaha and then talk about Nebraska as a state. What's going on?
I think the best thing that's
team.
happened to the dance team world in Omaha is the Nebraska State Dance Competition.
Okay, cool.
That has been the change because you'd have teams, like Millard West and us now that are going, and when we go to that state competition, those other teams, even teams from way western Nebraska,
right.
they see our teams and they're like, we want to be like that.
Yeah.
We want to all be able to do those technical elements. And so I think that has been the best thing that's happened to our state as far as dance team goes. And then I think we have really worked hard to build a positive dance team culture in the metro for sure.
Yeah.
Just a lot of the dance team coaches, we're friends. We get along great. We're all helpful to each other.
Fantastic.
I mean, when it comes to competing, we're all
forget it.
competitive.
Right.
Yes.
No, I get that.
We're all
totally.
competitive and we all want to win.
Right.
But I will say that we definitely
along
communicate.
really well.
We started this big send off for all the teams that go to Nebraska.
I saw that on social media, and I
Yes.
thought that's the way it's done.
Yes.
That should be how it's done, and then you guys can support each other when
Yes.
you're down there.
And then more
Compete,
people
right.
want to be a part of that too. And we used it as a fundraiser. We pick a some type of charity here in the
Oh my
metro.
gosh, even better.
And then it's free will donation to come and watch all these teams do their nationals routines at one last time before we go to nationals.
That's
and then we donate
fantastic.
the money. Us coaches kind of have a little meeting and get together and decide
Who to donate the
who we're
money
going to
to.
donate the
Sure.
money to. And then it's a big fundraiser for that charity, the local.
I love that.
Yeah. And this year I think we're at 13 teams. So we're kind of having a hard time because there's not really very good venue because Millard North is pretty big, but we've had
won't
it there the
hold
last
everybody?
2 years. It just doesn't hold everybody, and everybody has to sit on one
Be
side
on one side of the gym.
because you want to be able to watch, not from the back. And so
You're right.
we're looking into some
Okay.
other options now. So that's in the works already with some of the coaches. We're trying to figure out maybe where we can
maybe go
hold
to a
this
college
somewhere
or
bigger.
something?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Remember Christy Cole?
Yeah, yes.
She works at UNO now. Maybe call her. Anyway,
Yeah, yes, yeah,
Right.
yeah. Oh, Christy.
Should have probably waited until after the podcast to tell you that, but yeah, she might be able to help you
Give
out.
her a little shout out.
Yeah, and you know what? Or wherever you guys danced, and you danced there for college or whatever. Maybe
Yeah.
the college teams could get involved too. Have it at their venue.
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
And
Yeah.
Mo, she's the UNO coach, and she is highly involved with all of us. I mean,
Yeah.
she's awesome and
Have Mo
supportive,
host.
and yes. So yes,
Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about planning your year just a little bit more as a coach, just to make sure that we got this. Start the comp in August. Football. When is your state competition here in Nebraska?
So that is something that's a little
Weird.
Yes,
It always is.
interesting
Yeah.
because
Every state, it's weird.
Our competition is in February, mid-February, and so we have a competition. UNO hosts a competition in the beginning of December, and so that's great. And then we typically go to the UDA competition in Minneapolis,
Right.
Spirit of America. We go there at the beginning of January, which is an awesome timing. Like the timing, each of them are a month apart, so that's great.
Oh, so you have time to fix stuff.
Yep. And then that's our big last competition, before we go to nationals. So then we head to nationals, and then 2 weeks later is our state competition. So that's a little...
Yeah.
it's a little hard to get those girls rallied and ourselves rallied after coming
Right.
back from nationals.
Well, in Missouri, ours is at the end of February, and sometimes teams will have to make changes to fit the rules in Missouri when they
Yes.
just
Yep.
performed it at nationals. So that's kind of weird too.
That's what we have to do too, because we can't do lifts in some of the dances, so we have to
So
change.
you have to rework it.
and we don't even think about that until after nationals.
Right.
Yes.
You know, one thing I do think that keeps Missouri teams motivated is just because you won, like sometimes teams will place better at nationals
Yeah.
and then not so much at state, you know? And so then at state, it's like, wow, we placed before them. And so sometimes that's a motivating thing too for the girls.
And our girls, they do stay motivated because we are always trying to win state. I mean, that is like, I get super emotional and
Yes.
like worried about state because the girls want to win state so badly and I want it for them so badly.
Right.
And so it's actually pretty stressful.
It's, oh my gosh, Andrea is a
Very
hot mess at
stressed.
state.
I am a mess. I am
When it
a mess.
comes to it- when it comes to
Nationals is
awards.
just different. State, it's just the girls. We've been winning POM for 10 years at state, and we have been winning our other division for 7 straight years. So for 7 years, all our seniors have won both their divisions.
oh my.
It's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure.
You know, and I talk about this all the time. Like, you know, anyone who's probably listened before is like, oh gosh, here she goes talking about this. But it seems to me that whenever you are trying to maintain a title, the stress and the pressure, it morphs it into something that it's, you know,
It's hard.
But whereas at nationals, you guys are enjoying the climb.
ride.
Yes,
Yes.
the climb is so much prettier than the maintaining. Right?
Yes.
But what do? You know, I guess
You just tell them you have to be perfect.
You have to be perfect.
You have to be perfect.
Right.
You cannot mess up.
Yeah,
And so
well-
they know. I mean, the Nebraska dance world is
It's for real, man.
It's for real, and they know it, and
Right.
they know people are coming. I mean,
After.
they want
Yeah.
to take those just as badly as we do,
Right,
you know,
right.
and they want to win just as badly as we do, and they're putting in the hard work just like we
Right.
are, and everybody's working to win,
Right.
And so the girls know that, and we know that as coaches, and we just do the best we
right.
can.
And you might not believe me now, but if this day ever
Yes,
comes
yes.
where you guys do not, you know, maintain, that might be the best thing ever.
And
Pressure would be off.
And it would be okay. I
And
tell
it
the
would
girls,
be okay.
We tell them that.
That's right.
Going into this year, we knew we had a lot of strong competition, and our dances had to be perfect at state to win. And we told them the sun will still rise tomorrow.
Totally.
Yes.
And we will all be fine. And we
Yes.
will all wake up, and it will just be fine.
Well, and you could
know?
really just capture this opportunity to show that you guys are about so much more
Yes.
than winning.
Yep.
You know, sometimes
it's
being
good.
a graceful second place or
Yes.
whatever you want to call that is much better and will serve those girls much better.
That's right.
in
And
life
it
than
is
always
a
winning.
thing that we want everybody to get better and better.
Right.
You know, that's our goal, is that the whole state of Nebraska is amazing, you know?
Right.
And so we know that that's happening. And even Mila and I in our personal lives are doing a lot to help build up the
Oh, that's
dance
so cool.
world.
Yeah, okay, so talk really quickly about that because you guys just opened up a
Yes.
studio.
Uh-huh.
And our focus is
No
strongly
limits
on
or something.
Yeah.
What's
Yes.
it- okay,
no,
yes.
Yep, no
Yep,
limits,
yes.
dance and acrobatic training. Andrea and I and our good friend Amy just opened it, and our we put a strong emphasis on dance team technique. So we do like a lot of dance team prep classes starting at 5th grade. Mm-hmm. And it's, oh my gosh, the
So
energy
you don't teach
is-
little preschoolers, no little peewees or anything like that?
We do, but not dance team prep classes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
We do teach technique. We call it leaps, turns, and flexibility.
Yeah.
And
So
we
key,
teach, and then
right?
acrobatics, we teach those to little kids too.
Okay.
So
All right, let's
Yep.
talk just a second about, you guys both have gymnastics backgrounds. Has that helped tremendously in hip hop?
Oh, yes.
And not just hip hop.
Oh, and not even just hip hop. Now we tell our girls, I mean, it is so important in the dance world to be able to do acrobatics. You cannot get away with not doing
right.
it now. You know, I'd say 5-6 years ago, you'd have really good dancers that didn't have an acrobatic background and they were fine. But now, and especially if you want to go on to college dance team, or if you want to go anywhere, you have to be able to do these skills. So for parents, it's really important that they know
Right.
how important getting your child into
just makes them more
acrobatics
versatile on an individual basis, but then look at all that you guys can do with your team too. If they've got some of those skills.
We
for
even
sure.
just the other day at practice, we got the mats out and we spent 45 minutes just working on
their head springs and tricks and
that are in
like
their
that.
routines, you know.
Yeah.
So it's important.
Obviously, you guys work really well together. So I think you guys might have some things to tell other coaches about delegating and setting roles. No, we let Andrea do it all.
Andrea's kind of a control freak.
She's in charge of everything.
I have to tell Andrea, I'm like, okay, you need to just tell me what you want me to do. Just I'm here for you. So I mean, she's getting better.
I do.
You didn't know that this was going to turn into a therapy session.
I do like to be in charge of things.
Okay. All right. Well, surely Mila, you're doing something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. She does a ton. But as far as just at practice and stuff, we're very equal. Like we
tag team.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Definitely.
I'd say at practice, but I'd say more like managing the parents and their responsibilities and all the behind the scenes. I definitely do. That.
And I mean, shout out to the MNDT parents.
Oh my gosh,
they are incredible.
They're one of a kind.
Yes, they really are, and
it's fantastic.
They do so much. Like if it was not for
them, we would never ever be this successful. I mean, the amount of time that they put in.
That's fantastic.
Helping with fundraising and organizing travel. And that's one thing I guess I should say to coaches. It's funny because a lot of the things that I see coaches doing, and so I'll be talking to them and I'm like, those medical release forms, I'm sure there's a parent that would be willing to help you with those. And so, like every year I have a parent who is in charge of all the medical release forms for all the competitions. She collects them all from the parents. She puts them in an envelope, puts, Spirit of America.
Registration.
She hands them to me and at the day of the competition and they're all ready to go.
That's fantastic.
And it takes something off my plate. I used to be scrambling and I'm not always the most
forms
super organized,
right.
And
they
so
register us for
they do a lot of the registration. Some of it's easier if I just do it, but for sure for nationals, they arrange all of our flights, all of our hotel. The senior parents usually kind of work together and then they delegate amongst themselves.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So just like the administrative stuff you can give to a parent.
Yes.
For sure.
Yep. Costume designing and stuff. We work with them, but they do the communication piece. They help with the measuring.
Andrea and I kind of say what our idea is and then they take it from there. And
that's wonderful.
Yep. Arranging travel for our choreographers, all of that stuff. I tell them when and where and whatnot, and then they take care of it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I think that's very important because I think a lot of times coaches take on too much and
100%.
And they won't let some of that go.
And get burnt out.
And they do. And so rely
it's just
on
too much.
Other people.
Yeah. And the parents,
they'll step up.
They
won't
will.
They?
They will. I mean, it's a lot for our senior parents. I mean, by the time it's kind of good for them because then they're not as sad when they leave because they're like,
they're
you know
exhausted.
what? Yes, I'm done.
Yes. This was
that
fun.
was a lot.
Yeah.
So by their senior year, and we kind of gradually kind of ease them in. Your freshman year, you're just kind of
you show up.
Yeah, you just show up. Right. You help with your fundraising when you can. Sophomore year, a little bit more. Junior year, more, and then senior year is kind of your thing. So then you don't have to do it every year.
Right.
It's not going to be the same parents every year,
Right. So. And what else do you have parents do? What else have you let go of to them? I mean, the costume piece, I'm pretty impressed because a lot of people I don't think would let go of that. But that's cool.
And we're involved in it. It's just that they do the
mundane
details.
and the things that maybe you guys are like.
Rhinestoning. I do not do any rhinestoning. I don't talk about, they show me what they, is this okay? Yes, that's
cool.
okay.
Great.
They're in charge of all of that. Our fundraising money, managing.
Yeah.
I don't manage any of that.
Good.
We have a treasurer every year and I work very closely with her and I'll meet with them and set up the budget, but they'll take in all the money. They'll collect, balance the budget, making sure that we're on track. Let's see, like Christmas gifts or, holiday gifts or nationals gifts or all that stuff. I don't involve that.
Great.
I'm not involved in any of that.
They would just send us
ideas.
These are our ideas. What do you guys think? We tell them and then they arrange it.
Okay. Fantastic.
What else? They help drive the girls to the regional competition. You know, we never have to take a bus, so we don't have to have that added expense
out of the budget. That's great. Do they are fundraising? That's them.
That's all them.
That's great.
We actually are very fortunate with our fundraising. Probably for I'd say 20 years ago, some parents started an activities calendar for Millard North High School.
Okay.
And so it was dance parents 20 years ago. And so we have carried that on until now. So that is our biggest fundraiser.
You sell a calendar.
They sell ads, and then we give the calendars away for free. And so in the calendar is just pictures of like all activities, from forensics to drama to football to cross country.
Wonderful.
So we have pictures and then all the events in the calendar for the upcoming year. And then there's ads. And then we give them for free to all the families at orientation.
Oh, that's wonderful. What else do you guys do for fundraisers?
And then our other big...
we're gearing up for it right now.
Our other big fundraiser is our showcase, which is a month before our first competition.
You guys put on a show.
Yes.
Yes.
So, Mila, you can talk about this.
Yeah, so it's... so we do a clinic during the day. It's 3 years and up. And so our girls... run the clinic, we do that, and then they come. It's always on a Sunday.
Okay.
And they come for a few hours, and then they leave, and then in the evening we invite teams from around the metro to come and showcase their routines for the year. And I mean, most of the teams do their competition dances, but we have had people just do game dances, and we also invite cheerleaders too.
Oh, great.
So it's cheer and dance.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Showcase. And I mean, it has grown to be a huge
Quite the event.
It is so...
We had to put a cap on the performances, so we only allow for 40
So you're not there
performances.
till like midnight.
Yes.
Yes.
It's
2 hours. That's it. 2 hours is all we
6 to
have.
8 usually.
Yep.
5:45.
Yeah.
And
So the little girls perform, or the little dancers,
Yep, they come back and perform.
they
at
kick
the
off the
beginning.
show.
I love that.
Yeah, and it's... I mean, we are...
And it's free for the teams to come.
Well, you know what I love about that too is a lot of times people will do the little clinic, but then you perform at the game,
Right,
Like an athletic event. This is cool because it's all about cheer and it's all about dance.
Yes.
And these little ones are coming because that's what they're interested in,
And that's what
and
they
then
want
they get to stay and watch. That's so cool.
Exactly.
Yes, it's...
And like I said, it's free for the teams to come, which is huge when you're in the high school dance team world or cheer world, because everything costs a lot of money
Sure
and
does.
you don't have a lot of money. And so we invite all the teams for free, but then their parents pay admission, and that's how we have a fundraiser. Their parents pay $5 to get in or whatever. And so we have a pretty sold out. Our
great.
gym is just packed, and yeah,
And
That's a
it's
great
the-
idea for a fundraiser.
Yeah, and the timing of it is perfect because it's about a month before the first competition that
the metro.
everyone goes to. So it's like a
So those are our
kickoff.
two big
big
fundraisers.
ones.
That's we do those two things, and really we'll do a restaurant,
Like a little
10%.
one-offs here.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Very
but
good.
those are our two big ones.
Okay, cool. All right, let's talk a little bit about how you guys work on technique and isolated skills. We talked a little bit about getting out the mats and that kind of stuff. Is that part of your everyday practice, or do you guys say, okay, this is the day that we do that?
We
once a week, or
start
how does that work?
So every practice we start, the girls, we have the seniors in front and they lead the warm up. So we do that, and then we always have drills that we do at the beginning, jump drills. And after we stretch, we do tons and tons of jump drills, and we jump every
practice.
single practice.
That's great for stamina, isn't it?
You
too?
have to, if you want them to those jumps to be good, they have to jump a lot.
Like I think that then translates into a better like end of the routine for how everyone's like sucking wind at the end. Like I think that helps with that too. That I love that because instead of making them run laps, there's no running in the routine. Like they're working on skills that are in the routine.
Yep.
Okay, that's great.
Tons of jumping.
And we have
and
some
it's
things
really
too, like while they're
shown.
doing the jump drills, like to make sure that they're keeping their heart rate up when it's not their turn to jump. They'll be marking their routine, and
we only jump to their music.
yes, we only jump to the
palm
music.
So
Really?
by the end of the year, we have listened to that palm music 704,000 times. I don't even know.
My
And I mean, that
heavens.
is one thing to add too, is we are very, very strict about them knowing their music. And I mean, they should know that music. They should know in every single count.
Okay, I love that. That is great, because I think a lot of people would just put on,
Any music.
whatever.
Yep. But we need them.
They're focused, right?
Inside and out. You
guys are good at do multitasking, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, we're doing this.
Oh yeah, we got to be efficient.
Right. Because how often do you practice?
We actually don't practice as much as maybe some teams
Right.
practice. We practice on Monday mornings and for about an hour and a half, and then we practice Thursdays after
afternoons.
school for about an hour and a half, and then Friday mornings for about an hour and a half, and then we practice on Sundays.
Okay.
for
We don't-
2.5 hours.
And we don't start Sunday practices till mid-October.
Okay.
So then those are 2.5 hour practices, and those are our big.
Those are our big practices. But our girls do. So a lot of our girls compete with a studio, so they're
Okay.
dancing on those off days. The girls that don't dance at a studio, well, now it's really convenient because now they come to our studio
Right.
and take dance team technique class, which is for high schoolers, and it's just to work on technique. So we expect them
To work outside.
to take
Yeah.
dance classes outside of practice to be working on their skills.
So do you guys have practice at your studio now, or do you guys still have it up at the school?
We do both. Thursdays we always practice at No Limits, but we like to utilize the gym space when we have
need
it.
the gym space.
And
so.
is that why you do it in the morning?
Yes. There's no gym
Yes.
space
No.
in the
And
afternoons.
I mean, we have 23 girls on our team.
Yeah, so it's
That's
big group.
fantastic. Yeah. Yeah.
But our Sunday afternoon practices are at the gym or in the gym.
Right.
Unless we get booted for
Yeah.
a youth
Right.
athletic event or something.
Yes, yeah, and that happens. And I
Yeah,
think that's
it does.
I think that's good for other coaches to hear too, because there are schools all over the country, in their commons, in their cafeteria, in their
Yep.
locker bays, in their hallways, and their lobbies, and whatever. You just can never get a gym.
Yep.
Yeah.
And before until this year, we didn't have studio space. So we rented studio space.
Okay.
On Thursday. We've always practiced in a studio on Thursday afternoons. So
Okay.
we've just rented from local studios.
Right.
Yep.
And they're probably more than happy.
Yeah.
to-
Yeah. It's hard though, because they also need the space, so
Right.
it was always kind of crossing your fingers, hoping we could figure something out.
Well, it's probably
So-
hard too, because you guys have that monster-sized team, 20-some.
Yep.
Wow.
It is.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and usually studios aren't quite that big. Okay, so how do you select the styles of routines that you guys do? Are you guys always going to do pom and jazz, or is that
Well,
how it's
one
always
year
been?
we decided
One year-
to do hip hop.
Oh, tell me about that.
Oh my gosh.
Branched out a little bit. Was it a nightmare or what?
No. Oh my gosh. Actually, we should talk about how funny this was.
Yeah, please.
So,
Please do.
Okay. So
She doesn't know where to start.
Emily Schock, Westmore's coach.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. She did our jazz dance 1 year. And then the next year, she suggested that we do hip hop. And so we were like, okay, sure.
Sure.
And so we did hip hop. And when we got to nationals, it
Oh
was
my gosh.
okay. I mean, Emily Schock's genius. I mean,
Yeah,
she's so
of
awesome.
course, yes.
And so when we got to nationals, though, we walk in. We've never done hip hop before. We're in the warm up area. All of the music is like bumpity bumpity.
It is so
it's
different
crazy.
than
Like
anything that we were used to. Like
we're used to pom and jazz music. No, this was like
a whole.
hip hop.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
And then
I will
our
never
music,
forget it.
though, we did a Mario Brothers theme. And so when you
love.
like all
It's like
these
a
teams
video
are like
game.
hard hitting, like
Yeah,
you know,
gangsters.
all these yes,
And,
and,
then,
then
it's like
guys are like,
do-do-do-do-do-do. Ooh.
and then our music turns on, and we're like, oh man,
Oh
what?
gosh. And then everybody's looking at, they have like suspenders on and
Yeah.
like Pac-Man on their shirt, and everyone's just like, who
Yeah.
are they?
Y'all
What's
brought
going on?
the
But
happy
we did
hip-hop.
get 7th place
Oh, that's
at
fantastic.
nationals.
Okay.
And we actually won state
Oh,
in the hip hop division that 1 year also. So I don't know.
It
Okay.
was, but it was so
it was
fun.
so fun.
And honestly, I think it made our team stronger. Like doing hip hop that year made our team stronger. And I really feel like that was like a turning point in our program. Like after hip hop, after that, we really started
Yeah.
like going up and like,
Yeah.
right? Wouldn't you agree? Mm-hmm.
I think it's interesting too, because some coaches of some very successful teams will look at their members and be like, "What should we do?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, let's do what the majority, what their
Right.
strength is, instead of we are, whatever school, this is what we do. We
Right.
always do that and try and mold it to that instead of molding it to the dancers that
I
you have
think
in
it's
front of
hard.
you.
It would be really hard to flip back and forth. Like you work so hard on palm getting to where you're at.
Right.
Then I would never want to give that up. Like I would never, all the work we've done with like the jumps and the motion technique and trying to like get better and better. And so I could never drop palm for hip and try to do hip hop, and jazz.
Well, you put too much work into it, and the veterans now are so attuned to that, right?
Yes.
Right.
And even the girls who are coming up in the program, they're
invested
in the, they're taking those dance team prep classes. And,
right. So I don't see us ever leaving these divisions again.
All right.
Yeah.
You heard it here, folks.
Yes. But with our jazz routine though, it is always, we always kind of decide, well, what style are we going for this year? Do we want to do like more of a classical jazz or, are we going to go more of the contemporary route?
Is it going to be like a sweet dance or is it going to be more of a like hard hitting? Is it, so definitely jazz gives you a little
bit more leeway.
So you can kind of feel out your team and see what their vibes are and then
the palm category is getting kind of interesting too. It seems like you're slapped on the hand a little bit more though if you try and get kind of kooky and crazy with your palm.
Yeah.
Really. But I'm seeing hip hop elements in palm. I'm seeing, and of course, it's been many years since this change has occurred, but like all the jazz and technical elements now in palms, turns.
Yep.
And then there's still cheer elements with the jumps and stuff like that. So maybe that's your recreate palm or get us to think differently about that category too. That'd be a challenge.
We love palm. We love palm. And we have Dan Saps, our choreographer, and he is amazing.
Yeah. Every year
he just comes up with, oh my gosh,
he's all kinds of cool
and
creative
he's just
things.
so
he
creative.
Always gives us a theme. And
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're super, I can't wait for everyone to see our dance this year.
I can't wait for it either.
It's awesome.
That's going to be great. Well, good
and
deal.
He's a great person too.
Okay. Well, obviously, so you're relying on those folks to bring the creative. You guys do the cleaning, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about that. First thing that I want to talk about, and I've talked about this with, pretty much anybody that I've interviewed, how important is the choreo as opposed to the cleaning? Which is more important?
Oh, man. They're both so important. But I mean, obviously, if the dance is not clean, you are not getting anywhere.
Right. Yes. I hear that a lot.
If
they both of those elements have got to be there.
And we were talking about maybe about how do you gain the respect from your school, And I said synchronization. Like, all they want to see is what is so impressive to the general public is synchronization. If you can turn together, the crowd is just
amazed,
yes.
Right.
And so I think that's super important when you go to competitions too. You could have the coolest dance, the best choreography
on the score sheet.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like that's how you're going to get some points.
Yes. Yep. So I think that the cleaning, and we've gotten better and better every year. I feel like
about how you're doing your cleaning. Okay, tell us, how are you cleaning? Because there's like a dozen ways you can go about it.
Yeah, we do a lot of different things. I mean, we have them get into columns and dance behind each other, and we get into groups, and which is great about having two of us. So we can I can take this group, and she can take another group, and then we always are showing each other, and I mean we make them do dances in small groups, and people give them correction, their teammates give them corrections,
and we just go through every single count, break it down, every single count, a lot,
right?
And we are very, very picky.
Yes.
So do you start at the beginning?
We are starting at the beginning this year, but I think kind of maybe last year we might not have.
Yeah,
but we did. We just started at the beginning.
Start at the beginning.
Yep.
And you work your way on until
you work your way through. Yeah.
Do it until.
And then we kind of reevaluate as, so we'll do the showcase, we'll perform our routines in about a month, and then we'll take a look at the sections and we'll say this section needs to be re-cleaned, or, sometimes maybe we have to change things a little bit.
Right. Or sometimes, like if you're cleaning it in isolation, it looks great, and then you stick it in there, push play, and
yes,
it just
exactly
kind of falls apart.
We do sections too. Like we'll have 3 parts to each dance, and so we try to.
We've been
run it with
really,
those.
I mean, I'm going to be listening for some of these podcasts for some ideas because I mean, trying to
it's tedious, isn't it?
trying to get these girls to have these strong palm arms using their backs and engaging their cores and all these things is really hard, especially when your choreography is complex.
Right.
Anybody can walk around and have a sharp IV or stand in one place and have a sharp IV.
One
but when
hold
you,
2, 3 hold 4.
Right. But when you
simple.
add in all these things going on, it's very challenging. And I think our team still has a ways to go. So
Right. Okay. All right. So do you guys utilize like video too?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so tell us about that. Are you using like the band app or a Facebook page or whatever?
We use Google Classroom a lot.
Okay.
So the girls are a member of their Google Classroom, and they all have a computer at school. And so, if they have downtime after class or if they have a study hall, they can pull up their Google Classroom and the videos are on there. They can write comments. We will make them.
I think that's a powerful tool.
Oh my gosh, it has changed things,
We'll send screenshots.
Yep. We'll have them screenshots of like, what are you doing? Where's your foot? Why do you look like this? And they always like cringe when I start sending off the screenshots. I'll be laying in bed one night, start sending the screenshots, and they're all like, oh, here they come, like praying, praying their foot's not sickled in one of them or something.
Though the videos, even the other day, we were working on Palm on Friday morning, and I mean, it's 15 minutes after practice. They're like, videos? They're already ready to
They're
start.
very committed to watching their videos and making sure that they correct themselves. And and we tell them, focus on yourself. Like, it's easy just to watch and try to find all your friends' mistakes, but you need to watch yourself and pick out your mistakes.
Right.
And one other thing that we kind of started talking about last year that I think is really important is making sure, so you can have a girl who is maybe the best turner, and so whenever the turn music comes on, they are doing the turns every time. But really, and then you have the girl who's maybe not your strongest turner, but she's not taking that time to
because it's hard
run
for
the
her.
turns because it's hard for her.
Or she doesn't want me to see her fall out of them.
Yes. But that's like what we have been trying to tell the girls is whatever is your weakest thing, every time that music comes on, you need to be holding yourself accountable and drilling that.
And we almost just tell them now, if this girl is struggling with the turn section, I just straight up tell her every time that music comes on. Because, sometimes you'll set the music back. And so the turn music will come on, even if we're not working on that exact thing, but you're waiting for the part we're working on. That
Instead
girl
of, jumping
should be doing the turns every time. Last year we had a girl who was struggling with jumps. I said, anytime that music comes on and that jump music's a part of the music, you should be doing the jumps. And it works. I mean, it works.
Yeah, especially if you tell them, see, this is an opportunity. You'll get more praise from me for even trying.
Yes, exactly.
It'll be more opportunity for me to tell you that you're doing well.
Right.
And there's the head spring thing too that you did.
Oh,
you can share that.
So our couple of our girls, we had head springs at the beginning of our dance, and they were not getting them, and they were not getting them. I mean, this is, we need to be getting these head springs. Like, it's close to time.
Right.
And I was kind of letting them get away with not.
Right. Let us not mark it at this point in time.
Yeah. And so I told them, at one practice, and I said, starting in the next practice, if you don't hit the head springs at the beginning of the dance, we're doing the dance halfway through, starting the music over, and doing it again.
Sure.
And so every time you don't hit that head spring, any of you, there's 4 of you, and 2 of them were struggling with it, I think. And I am not kidding. Like, in 2 practices, they all had the head spring.
That was the motivation they needed.
Yes.
That was going to be
because
my next
they don't
question.
want to they don't want to make their teammates suffer because of what they're, and I also told the team, and you better be praising them and helping them get it, because you don't have to do the head spring.
Right.
So you're standing back there. You should never be mad at them because you don't have to do this hard trick at the beginning of the dance. You're just standing back there doing arm motions.
But again,
so you need to lift them up and maybe help them if you think that you would be helpful to them,
Right.
So we kind of talked about it in that it's not just their fault. They're doing this for all of us.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. They're getting out there and doing that skill. So the others don't have to.
Exactly.
How else do you keep them motivated? Because it is a lot of work. And sometimes the motivation, it's easier for a coach whenever the dancers have it within. Have you guys had times where it's like, man, I cannot get through to this one or this handful. They are just not in it.
We were
100%.
actually just talking on Friday when we were running about our team and how motivated and hardworking they are this year. I mean, they always, honestly, they're always pretty hardworking, but this year I do feel like they're
very competitive.
Very competitive.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So
we just stay really positive.
We are very positive.
Mila and I are both just by nature really positive people.
Good.
And we show up to practice and we are never grouchy. We're never whiny. We're never.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Like I show up on Monday mornings and, even if I've had a long.
They always know what to expect from us.
Yeah, it's never like, oh, how's she going to act today? Or, it's always every day is just we come in and, they know that we're going to be positive. Yes, I yell sometimes. She yells sometimes. We get grouchy with them if they're not doing well.
Right.
However, when we show up to practice, it always starts off positive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, I think that's so important.
And it always ends positive,
Right.
And so I think starting and ending your practices and just having a positive,
vibe.
A positive vibe at all times, And if somebody's struggling or if somebody's making that vibe go away, we talk to them independently and about how we can fix it, or we talk as a group. We do a lot of talking.
Yes.
We talk to the kids a lot.
That's great.
And sometimes you're like, oh gosh, we don't have time to talk, but
we need it.
So we do it. We take the time, and even if it's close to nationals and we need to be cleaning, we take the time if the girls need a little
mental,
regroup.
Right? A lot of it's
I always say I should have gotten a counseling degree for sure. I am like part dance team coach, part therapist.
Right. A lot of it is mental and just, keeping it positive, I think is so important, because I've seen the opposite, coaches going to the negative. That doesn't, it just, it makes
they're
it
high school
worse.
girls. At the end of the day, they're high school girls.
And they're learning and
they're trying to do everything. They're trying to, be good for us. They're trying to be good for their parents. They're trying to be good for their teachers, for their studio directors. They're being pulled in a lot of different directions. And I think also, they mess up sometimes, but Mila and I are like, do not hold any grudges. If a girl gets in trouble, yes, she's going to know.
Right.
She's in trouble and she is in trouble with me, but she also knows I still love her.
Oh, and, that's great.
And that's the thing. Like we love every single girl on our team. It is, we have girls on our team who, 9 years ago, and we still talk to them.
Oh, that's
and
fantastic.
Love them and keep in contact with them.
Now, do you think, is there anything that you guys have done to kind of build this team culture? Is it just showing up every day, being 100% in it, or do you guys do special things outside of regular practice time to kind of build that?
The girls do, they do some bonding things.
Right.
They, will do some things, but we really kind of stay out of that
arena.
Yeah, we don't, that's more of a parent driven thing,
Gotcha.
And the girls driven thing. So, we don't do a lot. They do, team dinners before games, and they carpool to the games together.
Right.
And, they have big sis, little sis.
Oh,
and
that's
so
fantastic.
that's great.
So they have, those kind of like Girl Scout type elements
Yes.
or whatever, where, what do you call it? Like the social type.
And our
things.
girls are all best friends.
Yeah.
It's not always been that way, and we don't tell them they have to be that way, but they just spend so much time and they have a common goal, and it just draws them to want to be around each other. They care about each other, but it's not always perfect, but we work on it.
Well, and I think sometimes too, as a coach, like you might kind of spend too much time and energy trying to think of these new and creative big sis, little sis social stuff to fix something that could be fixed if you yourself are fully invested and kind of have the right mindset of what you're building.
I think you're right. I think the girls know how invested Mila and I are, and we tell them.
Yes.
We give up, when we're here on a Sunday afternoon, we are leaving our children, we are leaving our husbands, we are giving up that to be with you. And so you need to show up, because we're showing up.
Show up 100%.
And I'm ready to go, and you need to be ready to go, And they know, I think they're very thankful and appreciative of us, but we also explain to them why they should be.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I don't think all coaches do that, but you have to. They're high schoolers. They're egocentric.
You do. You have to be totally transparent.
Yeah.
And so they know what you're
so
thinking.
they understand.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So obviously things cannot be perfect, right? Even though it seems like from the outside looking in, oh my gosh, they're just firing on all cylinders and everyone loves each other.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. So do you guys have something in place to deal with when inevitably problems are going to arise? Do you guys have some sort of constitution type thing or what?
Yeah, we have a constitution, but we don't do any type of demerit system.
Okay.
I just am not organized enough to do that. There's no way. It would be so unfair because I would never keep track of it.
Because you got to do something that fits you, the
Yes.
coach, you know.
Yes.
So how do you handle
honestly
it?
don't give a lot of consequences. I expect the girls to just be good at practice, you know. And if they show up late, they just don't really, and if they do, it's like a bad accident. They are very nervous and scared that they overslept.
Right.
They come in, they already know it's bad.
Right.
I might make them do 5 extra toe touches at the end of practice or something.
Right.
But it really doesn't
It doesn't
happen very often.
It's a freak
Yeah.
occurrence.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, I will say, as far as, let's be honest, these are high school girls and they don't always make the best decisions all the time.
Right.
And so that is something we've been dealing with in the last few years, is just trying to help these girls when they are with their peers outside of dance team, make good decisions and not get involved in activities that are illegal or
posting about said activities.
Yes. And it has definitely been a struggle for us in the last 4 years. And so we communicate a lot with the parents. We have just recently, we have a little kind of contract that they sign, behavior contract. And so it's pretty cut and dry.
But I like that.
If you get in trouble, you're out, the next competition. If you get in trouble again, you're out.
Right.
2. And if you get in trouble again, you're done.
But I know it just seems, really bizarre that you have to like line it all out and talk about it. But, it's better that way.
Yep.
From the very beginning, we're all on the same page, just so you know, this is what's going to happen if you choose to.
Yep.
Do
And our
X, Y,
school
Z.
is very, very, they're really supportive of our athletic director is awesome. He supports Mila and I so much, and he's so supportive of the dance team and the girls. And he's even, he has gotten involved, and he'll, bring the girls and talk to them and try to
great.
also explain to them why, they're so lucky to be a part of this. And, we tell them that, so many girls, people, high schoolers don't get this chance and an opportunity like you have.
Right.
And you need to think about that. You don't know any different, but it's really an opportunity that not all high schoolers get. So you are held to a higher expectation than the average student. And if I tell them, if you don't want to be held to a higher expectation, then you can go be a standard high school student, and you don't have to be on the dance team.
Right.
So
right.
that's
Very
kind of
good.
how we go with it. But
Okay. Okay, so obviously you guys have been doing this a long time. What do you know now that you did not know then? Like if you had some advice for yourself as a first, second year, third year, whatever, what would you advise yourself with those first things that you handled?
oh my gosh.
Every year we're learning.
I was 22 then. Oh my gosh. And now I'm 38. It's been definitely, I think just as you get older and you learn, you just know that you're doing what's best for the team.
Right.
And you cannot listen to parents because they're oftentimes doing what is best for their daughter, and not in a bad way. Of course you do. You're a parent. I'm a parent. And so I get it and I understand it. But a lot of times you just need to focus on the fact that you're the coach and you're doing what's best for the entire team. And
Try not to please everybody.
Exactly. You won't.
And
You
just
won't.
building a culture where it's just, I know we've already mentioned this, but just a positive culture within your team, and like continuing to have that, and everybody is so supportive of one another and there for each other. And I just think every year it gets
Better
I think
and
one
better.
thing that maybe I do more now,
better and better.
it's like a lot of hugging the girls.
Oh my gosh, and they love it.
and
love it.
they
Oh,
do.
that's fantastic.
And I don't think I did that as much. And even just recently, I feel like, or just, when you walk by them, like just kind of like a little like little
doing
tap,
good.
a little,
Yeah.
You're like, how you
I
doing
think that's
today?
awesome.
They
And I think-
all want that attention. So
And I think it's really cool that that's the kind of thing that you guys pointed out, because that could be said for it that really didn't have anything to do with physically dancing.
yeah.
The same could be said about the chess club. You know what I mean?
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Just where's your focus? And if your focus is on bettering everything,
Yep.
that's awesome. That's pretty powerful stuff right there. Okay, what would you give that same advice to a coach that's struggling? Look at the big picture, right?
Yes,
And
for sure.
And talk to people and use. I mean, I think what's great about our team is that they have. Andrea and I have each other,
yes.
And I think you
that's so
see like
true.
a lot of times maybe coaches who are by themselves, like get support from someone else, and because that goes a long way.
It
Having
does.
one another and just being able to, oh my gosh, we tell the girls all the time, we'll leave practice, we'll be together for 2.5 hours of practice, and in the moment we get into the car, we're on the phone and we're talking about how practice went
Right.
and like what can we do to be better. And so I think that is just having someone, and maybe if you can't have an assistant coach, but just maybe having someone you can talk
Right.
to about it, or bringing someone else in when you can.
That's one thing
There's
that
always
blows.
people who want to help.
I was just going to say that has always kind of blown my mind about people like us. We're not making millions of dollars, right? And even if somebody like, I can't pay you anything, but will you? Like the answer is usually, yeah.
Yes.
Heavens, yeah.
people
Especially from
want to.
alumni. Oh my gosh,
my
they're your
gosh.
best resource,
Yes.
because they
So
love
build
you and they're invested and they want to help. And so we do a lot of that.
Well, and I think too, maybe if somebody's listening thinking, well, yeah, that's Millard North. No, like little 1A teams, some of them have great support structures too.
Yep.
From their alumni.
And ask other coaches. Now there's, through social media, you can get a lot
Yes.
of information. But my brother told me one thing that always sticks out in my mind. And he said, successful people want other people to be successful.
Yes.
And if you kind of think about that, and then you help other people become successful, you'll continue to be successful, because
Absolutely.
and that's, I think, something that we do. I am always willing to help any dance team coach in the area. What do you do for this? What do you do for that? I just tell everybody. I talk to principals. I've talked to athletic
Right.
directors. I've talked to tons because they look at us like, how are you making this work? How do you run this? How do you do that? And I'll tell them everything.
Right.
Yep.
The coaches are that way.
Yep.
I've been blessed to be around, groups of coaches, and it's always the same. As a matter of fact, that's my next question. We're going to do a little rapid fire here. I should have brought buzzers and done this game show style. But whenever I've been around coaches and or choreographers or anybody that's like involved in this activity that we all love, they all start talking about the same topics, and the topics always, these are the ones that always come up. So if you could just give me a little sound bite about each of these little things. Choreography.
Find somebody really awesome that cares about your girls.
Oh, I like it. Mila? Ditto?
And yes, and just like somebody who you think can take it to the next level, to stand out. It's all about standing. I feel like it's standing out,
Being different.
setting your team apart.
Okay. Cleaning or perfecting.
Strong arms.
Okay. Use your back. Use your
Projection.
core. Oh, projection. Big
you
on
don't even know how
projection.
many times I say chin up.
Yes.
Chin up.
And our
projection,
team, you
strong
wait.
arms.
This year, our team gets it because we've been talking about projection for about 3 years, and they finally get it.
Awesome.
Yep.
Because they're juniors now.
Yeah, right. That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Yes.
Parents.
Communication. Be honest. Communicate with them. Be there for them.
Okay.
If they need, just
Tell them thank you, too.
Tell them thank you.
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good
Yes.
stuff. Okay. Technique.
Every day.
Okay.
It only gets better with practice.
Repetition.
Repetition. That's our
If you want to do a quad, you need to do it every day 100 times. I don't know.
Okay.
get in your kitchen.
Yep.
Work
Put a
on
little
those
pressure
things.
on them independently at practice.
Yep.
Love it. Costumes.
Have the parents do it.
We love rhinestones.
If the parents do it.
Yeah.
If the parents do it.
Okay. Hair.
Have the parents do it.
Oh my gosh, hair was a
I don't
big
know.
thing last
It
year.
always is.
I know.
Simple.
Simple.
No
yeah.
time for that. Simple.
I think sometimes people get hung up on that.
yeah.
If we do this,
No.
will it? No, it won't.
Simple.
Right. Yeah.
Slick back button.
Okay. Makeup.
Girls.
Oh, wear more, girls. Put some lipstick on and some blush. We're always telling him that. We're like, girls.
Yeah.
Wear more makeup.
The girls are in charge. Put the seniors in charge.
Yeah.
Of the makeup.
Of makeup. Because they'll know and
Yeah.
they'll know what to do. I
We have
love
a
it.
makeup budget, and then they just go to Sephora, and they all somebody's in charge of bringing the makeup and.
Oh, so they have a cohesive look then too.
Yes.
That's very cool. Okay, fundraisers.
Everybody needs to do their part.
Okay.
The girls, parents.
Yes, the girls need to be involved and to have some ownership, and we've really been working on that lately. Is how and these parents have been really good about, they sell ads, but it used to always be the parents would sell the ads, but now it's kind of changed a little, and they send their daughters out, like, get your uniform on, go ask these businesses, and it
Stand
works.
on the corner with a sign.
and it works. It works. And with the kiddie clinics, you need to
be prepared.
Be prepared and be good at leading, and so.
Okay, got one final question for you ladies, and I ask it of almost everybody that I interview, because I'm a mom. I've got lots of stuff going on. You guys are moms. You have lots of stuff going on. And so we, I don't know if it shows up in your news feed or if I'm just kind of conditioned to be listening for this, but I feel like we get talked to a lot about this thing called balance. How do you juggle it all? How do you find balance? And sometimes I'm just like, I feel like that's being kind of thrust upon us by these people that maybe have found it or want to sell something that will help you find it. All right. So what's your take on that? Do you do it all? Do you attempt to do it all?
We have a lot of energy,
yes,
and we're busybodies.
Yes.
So we can.
You're happy like this.
Yes. Oh, definitely. And we have each other, which is, like we've already mentioned, that's great. Our parents are very helpful when we need
and
them.
really
Our
supportive
husbands.
with dance team.
Yes.
So you lean on people.
Oh, yes.
To get that balance.
Babysitters. We got babysitters.
I have 3 kids.
Right.
I have 3 kids, and yes, I am absolutely not afraid to ask for help from babysitters.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't think my life is ever in balance.
Never.
I think it's definitely all out of balance, but it's
Or if it's okay at home, then your classroom's a mess.
I mean, and it's okay. You just. You just stay positive, get enough sleep. I try to get enough sleep.
Yes.
That's
a great
one thing that's
takeaway.
hard. It's hard for me to get enough sleep.
So don't stay up until 1:00 in the morning.
No,
right.
no.
Trying to get it all done.
No.
And
No.
make
Go to
time
bed.
for
Laundry will still be there.
That's
yourself
true.
to do things that you love to do, whether that's exercising, going on a date, going out with your friends,
Right.
Just making sure that you have.
I think Mila and I both do that. We're obviously very love dance team, but
Right.
it's not our whole lives. We have husbands that like to do other things. We, one time I was reading this book recently, and it was, one of the things was about being a workaholic.
Yeah.
And I kind of had an aha moment. I'm like, oh, gosh,
Perhaps
am
that
I?
is me.
Perhaps I'm an alcoholic. Perhaps I'm a workaholic.
a whole nother
Oh my-
podcast, Andrea.
yes. Sorry about that. Perhaps I am a workaholic. And as I was telling somebody about this, and we were at a dinner, and he looked at me and he goes, Andrea, if you were a workaholic, you would not be here right now.
That's true.
That
And
is
I was
so
like,
true.
you're right. And I
Right.
do make time to have fun and do our own thing, like my husband and I and our family.
Right.
And, so.
It's just not all about one thing.
Yeah.
All right.
And we love taking our kids to the dance. Our girls love going to
Football
the Millard North
games.
football games.
Oh, how
and,
fun.
my
being
kids
around
have
the older girls and
Grown up with all of that.
really, they're like, we're giving them memories they're going to have
Forever.
their whole life.
Again with the multitasking. Right? Family time.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. And
football
that's
game,
true.
yeah.
My 10-year-old, she is actually the one. She came to almost every dance team practice. She was really easy and awesome. But then my second child, not quite
Not
so much. She
much.
wasn't as easy to bring to
She
practices.
probably wants
and
to ride
stuff.
horses.
Yeah, I know.
Like my kid does.
Oh, no, she does like dance, but
Yeah.
she just was harder as a baby.
And our husbands came to nationals last
For
year.
the first time ever, my
Both of
husband.
us. Yeah,
that's so
and my
great.
husband, it
Did
was
he
his
love it?
second year.
I don't know.
no,
I
love's a strong
feel
word.
like he liked it a lot more. He's friends with some of the dance team parents. We've gotten to know them, over the years. And my mom and dad always go
Our
to
parents
nationals.
go
Oh,
every
that's
year.
year.
fantastic.
They're waiting one of these years.
Yep.
They
They're just
are like, we
waiting for us to win one of these years.
Aw.
So Pat and Jane keep showing up.
That's fantastic. Awesome.
But yeah, our parents are really supportive. So
Okay. Well, very good. This has been wonderful.
Yes,
I think
thank
that
you
guys-
so much for having
and
us.
thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed spending time with them, and Mila and Andrea certainly did not disappoint when it came to passing along all kinds of helpful hints on how they're getting it done at Millard North. I've enjoyed watching their climb for sure, but I was really heartened to hear that the success that they're having is really a product of positivity. They do a lot of drills and hard work and cleaning, but they also do a lot of talking and a lot of hugging, and I just love that. I also love how they're getting it done with great results by utilizing the time they have with their team in every way possible and then taking a much-needed break. Try that system out if you're experiencing burnout. I'd be interested to see if it works for you. They also lean on their support system, and that system is very inclusive for sure. Parents, school community, alumni, and other teams. That's so great what is going on with the teams in Omaha. That shows you can still be competitive, but you'll get support from other teams if you reach out and build that network. And we'd love to be part of that network too. You can get in touch with us at our website, larkspurdance.com, and we're on social media as well, and we'll follow back, unless you're a bot or just on there to be nasty. Thanks so much for listening.